Top 10. Chives. Many people pour expired milk into plant pots, causing the plants to suffer from root burn and die. That's because fermentation generates a lot of heat and organic acids. But chives possess a perennial root system with an incredibly strong buffering capacity. Their plump underground bulbs are highly tolerant to acid and heavy fertilizers. Once the proteins in the wastewater are broken down by microorganisms, they release countless trace elements, helping the chives grow as thick as your fingers and multiplying their pungent flavor. Top 9. Perilla. Leftover tea contains tannic acid and a small amount of theophylline. For ordinary plants, these are growth inhibitors, but for perilla, they act as natural growth promoters. Tannic acid can kill harmful fungi in the soil, protecting the perilla's root system. Meanwhile, the trace elements in the tea stimulate the synthesis of aromatic essential oils like perolaldehyde in the leaves. Perilla watered with tea will have an aroma so rich it can permeate your entire living room. Top 8. Malabar spinach. To remove pesticides, we often wash vegetables with water mixed with baking soda. If this slightly alkaline water is used to water plants long-term, it will cause soil salinization. However, Malabar spinach is one of the very few highly alkali-tolerant vegetables. It can absorb sodium and potassium ions from the water and convert them into plant mucilage polysaccharides in its thick leaves. The more slightly alkaline water you use, the thicker its leaves become and the smoother it tastes. Top 7. Green onions. For many plants, meat washing water easily attracts pests and causes root rot, but the root systems of allium plants secrete large amounts of allicin and sulfur compounds. These are natural bactericides, so pests and pathogenic bacteria don't even dare to come close. At the same time, the small amounts of heme and animal protein in the meat washing water, once broken down by soil microbes, become the most premium amino acid fertilizer. Green onions grown with meat washing water will have thick white stalks and a pungency that hits right to the brain. Top 6. Water spinach. Fish waste in water converts into highly toxic ammonia nitrogen, which can kill fish, but it is exactly the pure nitrogen fertilizer that water spinach crazily craves. The highly developed aquatic root system of water spinach acts like a water pump, directly absorbing ammonia nitrogen and nitrites from the water. By simply placing water spinach roots into a fish tank's filter, it can purify foul, stagnant water into crystal clear living water, rewarding you with harvest after harvest of tender green leaves. This is the most classic aquaponics system. Top 5. Water bamboo. The water bamboo plant itself is a miracle born of pathology. Its stem must be infected by a fungus called Ustalago esculenta to swell and become the edible water bamboo shoot we eat. The symbiotic system between this fungus and the water bamboo consumes a massive amount of nutrients. The murkier, blacker, and more rotting organic matter the muddy water contains, the more abundant fuel it provides for the fungus. Ultimately, it produces white, tender, and sweetwater bamboo meat. It purifies the dirtiest muddy water into the cleanest plant flesh. Top 4. Lotus Root. Why isn't the lotus root afraid of stinky ditches? Because it comes with an internal oxygen supply highway. The interconnected holes inside the lotus root aren't just for show. They connect directly to the lotus leaves on the water's surface. The leaves pump fresh oxygen directly into the oxygen-deprived deep mud, forming a negative oxygen shield around the lotus root's epidermis. This oxygen layer can oxidize and isolate toxic metal ions in the foul water, such as iron and manganese. Sitting in the dirtiest water, it builds an absolutely pure protective barrier for itself. Top 3. Watercress. Watercress is born to grow in flowing streams. Its dense, white, fibrous roots act like rows of living carbon filters. As water carrying tiny food scraps flows by, its roots can physically intercept these suspended particles and secrete special enzymes to quickly break them down and absorb them. Abroad, many eco-friendly families route their kitchen sink drain pipes directly into pipes filled with watercress. By the time the water reaches the end, it has become crystal clear. Top 2. Water celery. The reason water celery isn't afraid of domestic wastewater suffocating its roots is that it has opened a fully automated fertilizer factory right underground. It uses its developed root network to intercept wastewater debris, then releases oxygen into the root mud through its own aeration tissues, artificially creating a precious aerobic rhizosphere. Massive amounts of beneficial bacteria swarm here, frantically eating the wastewater debris and then excreting the purest liquid nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizers for the water celery to absorb for free. The dirtier the wastewater, the more bacterial employees it hires, and naturally, the crazier it grows. This is the ultimate water purification magic in ecology. Top 1. Taro. Traditional soaps, dishwashing liquids, or hand sanitizers usually contain large amounts of potassium salts and phosphates as their core chemical components. In nature, excess phosphorus causes eutrophication in water bodies, acting as a severe pollution source. However, potassium and phosphorus are exactly the ultimate fertilizers that Taro craves most wildly. When you water it with mild, soapy water, its massive and robust root microbiome rapidly degrades the fatty acid salts and absorbs all the phosphates in the water without leaving a trace. Soaking up this wave of free potassium and phosphorus, the taro not only grows leaves big enough to cover a face, but the tubers dug up are also massive and incredibly fluffy.